Hello, and welcome to Conversations with the Commissioner. I am, of course, your Commissioner, Delonte Smith, and, of course, I've had to step once again out of the BFBA complex and into a magnificent headquarters. When the owner of the NY Mindset of Fighters, Cedric Lucas, made the call and invited me in, I definitely had to answer. So, without further ado, let's bring a two-time champion to the conversation. Cedric, how are you, sir?
I'm good, sir. How about you?
Fantastic.
Good,
Thank you.
good.
Thank you. I first want to say thank you for welcoming me into your lovely home.
No problem.
This is very beautiful, sir. I mean, the threads are lavish. I love the Christmas trees. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's Christmas time, so you got to get into it.
It is. I feel like this is a great opportunity to share the wealth and the love of Christmas and the league, you know?
Yeah.
This is fantastic. So thank you, sir.
No problem, boss.
So, hey, man, when I get into a conversation?
Let's rock and roll. I'm ready.
Fantastic. So first, let me congratulate you on your two BFBA championships, 2019 and 2022. What do you think were the key factors that contributed to those victories?
It was trades. It was trades. It was being patient. It was finding the right deal that was out there to help me. As you know, at that time, we had another owner that stepped in and came in. And maybe 5-10 minutes before a trade deadline, I believe it was Karl Anthony Towns that I wound up winning my first championship with. I don't know if you remember, but
I do, and it's very interesting that we decided to start the conversation off with that. And I think this may just kind of show give a hint to what this conversation is going to be like. I did some research, and yes, so it was, I think, Lakers in 4 was the name of the team, and it was Jordan Dickerson was the team owner. Right before trade deadline, I mean, we're talking like an hour before, there's a blockbuster deal that goes off, and from a non-active team.
yeah. And you probably was, but it wasn't an hour before. If you look at it, it was probably about 10 minutes before. We was on the phone, and as you guys know, I'm active. I'm always ready to wheel and deal. And I got that phone call to say, hey, Karl Anthony Towns is available. I'm like, let's pull the trigger on that. He is and was a big Karl Anthony Towns fan. So
now, I mean, at that moment, we're talking, you're 4 seasons into the league at this point, right? Trades have been issues with other owners. I'll be honest, myself included. There was a big war cry for trades that I would do and that they could be tampering, right?
Exactly.
How do you feel, or how can you say that it's okay? Commissioner is tampering when he's doing deals with people that are inactive, but the deal that I did that could have solidified my 2019 BFBA championship, we don't consider that tampering. The owner wasn't active, and there is an unwritten rule in the league. There is no official rule that we don't do dealings with owners that are not setting their lineup.
I don't know how to answer that, and there's 2 reasons why. The first reason is he was active. It was times where he wasn't active compared to when you did your deals. And if you remember, me and Muggs was the one who called you out for it because it seemed like you was dealing with not customers, but with owners that wasn't in chats or anything. But
Which is the same thing that happened in your deal. I mean, he wasn't active in the chat.
He
went 3 weeks without setting his lineup before he made that deal. And that's what was the big uproar about it, was that an owner who had lost the majority of his season was not active, doesn't set his lineup, but is active enough to make a deal with a friend who brought him into the league. Same thing that it was considered, an issue with the commissioner, wasn't an issue to win ourselves, a BFBA championship.
And I give you that. And I think yours was before trade deadlines. Mine was exactly 5 minutes before 12 p.m. when we had to pick up our waivers. I got that phone call, and he was like, yo, Towns is available. And anybody know I'm a big Karl Anthony Towns fan. And I had to accept the deal.
I mean, I understand being a Karl Anthony Towns fan, and that deal falling in your lap at that time wouldn't pass it up, right? I don't think anybody in the league would pass that deal up. But to the point of, are we kind of in a sense? I mean, we're calling it's a pot calling the kettle black here. what the commissioner did in the deal, if I did that deal or when I did the deal earlier in the season, now we're 5 minutes before the trade deadline, so we really can't kind of check this deal, right?
Okay.
Are we gaining leverage on the league? Like, are you? Is it a strategy of yours to use the timeline of the deadline to your advantage to push deals that may have been vetoed?
Let's go to the next question, and we'll get back to that one.
Oh, okay. Sure. How would you describe the playing style and philosophy of the NY Mindset of Fighters?
In order to even get an interview, even to get drafted here, you have to have that New York mindset. You have to have that Brooklyn attitude. You got to want to play, and you got to want to play to win. We're not here to seem like we're donating to the Salvation Army or any of that. You got to want to win. You got to want to fight. You got to be angry being here. You got to bully some of the owners and their players. You're going against Dame, who a 3-time champion. You're going with Holly, who was a 2-time champion.
The Evil Empire and Brooklyn Stoop Kid.
Yeah, you're going against these teams, and now you have BX Mob, who is building a foundation over there. So if you don't
You're speaking about Randy Aries.
Correct.
Okay.
If you don't have that mentality to want to be here, I'll trade you.
Understood. So if you don't have the mentality to want to be a mindset of fighter or a fighter, right?
A winner.
A winner. Understood. Yeah.
And that's all it's about. It's about having that mindset of it. You don't got to be from New York to have that mindset, but you have to have the mindset to say, you know what? I'm going against Anthony Edwards. I'm going against LaMelo Ball. I'm going against Kyrie Irving. I'm going against Steph Curry. And if you decide to say, hey, listen, I don't want to play that night, I can't have you here. That's just to it.
I mean, that's a statement, It really, you're looking for consistency within the player.
100%.
Right? And you're obviously, I mean, I guess we're willing to say that you're willing to go out on a limb to trade an all-star that may sit.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
Before I get to my next question, though, let me just ask this one. You and I, we just battled, and it was a great battle last week.
Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
I gave it to you.
I appreciate that. I mean, we had a deal and an agreement, but that's not for this conversation.
Nope. And it's all right. The guys understand. I took a risk on a certain player, but
which is what I was. I mean, are we kind of contradicting ourselves with what we just said? Willing to accept a deal for Joel Embiid?
You know what? Honestly, no. I'm gonna be patient with him. He went through, as a previous owner, I think it was Lady Nay, did the deal with BX Mob. BX Mob then did a deal that pretty much can make his future now of winning the title and next year.
Are we talking about the trade with the DC Hustlers,
exactly.
Travis? Which, if you've been watching the conversations, you've seen that we've talked about that conversation, and hopefully we'll get to speak to Travis on his mindset. I see what I did there. His mindset.
I like that, baby.
Of making that move, but I'm sorry to cut you off. Continue.
No, you're good. So when you look at all the owners that he been through that gave up, we had Team. I think it's Trader Danny. When he did that deal, not Trader Danny, but he gave Randy BX Mob, general manager, so much shit for that deal.
That's very true.
But then when you look at that deal, you ask yourself, Randy did that, BX Mob, the general manager over there, did that deal with a former owner, and it didn't work out for him. He have not won a title. And he said in his last interview, Embiid was the problem. So you know what he did? He took that and he shipped them over to DC Hustlers, right? DC Hustlers kept him maybe less than, not even 4 games. And said, you know what, he's suspended, I don't want him. Try to renegotiate the deal. It couldn't get done. What'd he do? He got on the phone with you, Commissioner, over there after Shamgars, did all types of interviews to try to move him. And he got the deal that he wanted. You rolled and rocked with him and seen that he gave you, I think, 51 points maybe one game?
61.9, but he only was with me for one game.
For one game, and then last week, watching the video of Commissioner of Randy's interview, Horrible interview, by the way. But what I would say is when you watch that video, Randy said it. It was Embiid was the problem. I left the headquarters, and me and you worked the deal. And I think it was a good deal, and I'm not going to give up Embiid too quickly.
So let me. I got to continue to ask you. We were saying that Randy, the ex-Bay Mob, says that he has to rid himself of Embiid. I realized by taking him on that I too need to rid myself of Embiid. If you have other owners that are willing to depart with such all-star, but your patience to wait out, what do you think we've gotten wrong with Joel Embiid?
I think it's too early to decide. He's sitting early, and I'd rather for him to sit early than to sit during the playoffs.
Okay.
The problem is we abuse him. Our league, the NBA, they abuse him because they have this. You have to play 62 games in order to qualify for any type of rewards of MVP. And he went out there and he damaged himself. So you know what? Let's forget the MVP. Let's forget improvement of the year, sixth man. Let's get him healthy so when April, May, and June come, or March, April, May, he's healthy. And that's the risk that I'm willing to take on him.
So you believe that because he's not playing games earlier in the season, he'll come through for you when it's playoff time in March?
I believe so. Yes, I do.
All right. Let's talk about a little bit of playoffs here. You've only placed in the top 3 standings twice. Both of those times, you won a championship. What do you think has been the difference between those championship seasons and the others?
All right, so to be 100% honest, it's the owners. It's us as a league. The league is growing. At that time when we came in, you have active owners, you have non-active owners, you have some who, after, say, 15 games or 8 games, I'm tired of setting my lineup. It was more of a easy route to take. As you said, my first title, we had active owners. I made a big trade. And at that time, it was like, okay, you know what?
Again, just for the correction, because I kind of feel like we're getting away from what the narrative is that I don't think many owners within this league would call team owner of Lakers in 4 an active owner. And I think that's a conversation that we should have at a later time with maybe other owners involved. But you may call Jordan an active owner in doing that deal, but I just want to go on record and say that I don't think he was active in that time.
Okay, and that's your opinion. As a commissioner,
Correct.
That is your opinion.
You're absolutely correct.
But as a guy that worked with him, I seen him active. But again, that's another conversation for another day. Mm-hmm. It ain't going to take away I won the title.
Very true.
It's not going to take away the fact that active, inactive, I still battled. But it wasn't an easy battle. I was going against Brad. Mm-hmm. And just like your title, it came down to the point where it was that one player, I forgot who it was, maybe DeAndre Jordan, that helped me get over the top.
Okay. So basically, even though we did a deal for Karl Anthony Towns, we don't honestly believe that he won you the championship in 2019? Or do you believe that he did?
I believe he was the top of the piece that I needed. He was that bottom fish I was looking for. At the bottom of the ocean, I needed that one piece.
He was the big fish in the
big
tournament,
fish.
I guess, right?
Exactly.
So basically, we won the Bassmaster Classic
and
because we got the big catch.
And it's a big man league. Any owner can tell you that. It's all about the big man.
Yes.
And for a time, Joel Embiid was that big man.
He was. Correct.
But he still is a formal MVP. Mm-hmm. Yes, he haven't won a title. He got an Olympic. He won that. Congratulations to him on that. But he is still a all-star, superstar that you don't need him every night if you have the right team around him. Mm-hmm. And I believe we have the right team around him to make us get to the top of where we need to be.
Understood. We've done a lot of talking about Embiid and the deal that you did in our deal. So let me just get back to the question. What do you think has been the difference between those championship seasons and the other championship seasons? I mean, the other seasons. We've been in the league for 7 years now.
Okay.
What do we think has been the difference between the two championships, right, 2019 and 2022, and I mean the rest of the time in the league?
I'm going to say it like I've been saying it all this time. It's patience. My very first year, I got lucky. I'm first to say it. I got lucky. That second title, it wasn't easy.
Okay.
And I haven't won a title since. And now I have the patience to say, you know what? We got to take it day by day. We're growing as a league.
Right.
So as growing, it's not easy. Regardless, I can have 10 All-Stars. That don't mean we're going to get to the top of where we need to be at.
Understood. So just basically continuous growth and patience.
And patience.
Understood. Understood. You spoke about him briefly. Brad, Buford Bombers owner. You're currently leading that matchup against the Buford Bombers in this week. I think the matchup is 115 to 111.
Correct.
It's a short week. What are the strategies that you employed this week? Excuse me. And what difference do you think it's made to your matchup?
Honestly, I would say the NBA. This tournament have messed everybody up for maybe the past 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. You have teams that should have lost last week that actually won.
Would you like to elaborate on who those teams are?
Yes, one team is you. You should have lost last week.
Understood. And why? I mean, it's our conversation, and I don't want to take away from your interview, but you know, I want to defend the Sham Gods as much as possible. Now, I'm not going to go into full detail, but why do you feel as though that week was given to you, even though the pool, you didn't have more players?
You know, you look at certain days, you had my boy Segan playing, and maybe Milwaukee, where those was the only two teams that was playing. If you didn't have Segan playing, and it was even fill, I would have took that week.
Is there any consideration to the trade that was made between the two of us?
No.
So the additional
61 points.
That was just of 2 nights. Yeah. An overall total of 234 points.
No, because
where's and I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
If we're the trade that we did, you received 234 points for the week from me. I received 136 in the players that we moved. So is there no consideration that if that deal had never gone through, that they wouldn't have been as close as it was?
No, it wouldn't have, because you wouldn't have had Embiid give you that little boost that he gave you. You think about it. You had Brunson. You know, I got him and Cat together, and we understand that. But if I didn't make that trade with you, one night PJ Washington didn't play because he was injured. And you knew that. Before you made the deal, and you made that deal, you felt comfortable knowing, looking on Twitter, X is what they call it, you knew what you was doing, and I applaud you.
I mean, I would think so. That's why I got the W.
Exactly, and I congratulate you. So that's why. But no, I don't think if we made that trade, I think it would have been my week.
That's understandable, and I don't want to. I don't want to degrade your views, right? I think that's a perfect way to believe. I think the week spoke for itself.
Okay.
So at this point, we're just kind of, you know.
I took the L and I accepted it.
Understood.
It's all right.
Yeah, I'm.
But I feel that's what is going to make this week a little easier this week than it was last week. Last week it was a short week for all of us because of the cup. As you know, last night we had players play. But we didn't get anything from that, right?
Correct.
So now we go into Thursday's game when we have every single NBA player playing. And that would determine, Thursday and Friday, would determine the directions of my team and everybody else that's either winning or losing.
Understood. So I mean, honestly, I think we all go into the week with confidence, but there's continued confidence even in the short week that being up by 4 points doesn't worry you at all. Brad being on a 2-game winning streak does not worry you at all.
No. I'm prepared. Going against Brad is always a battle. But what I like about that team and my team is we're ready. We're healthy, except for Embiid, who will be out for the remainder of the week, and we just got confirmation of that. But when you look at Brad,
So we're going into the week. We're healthy, but Embiid.
Yeah.
Could you say that that's not a healthy team?
I would still say it's a healthy team because we was prepared when we made the trade to know that it was always a backup for him. And the reason why it's funny because the trade that happened between, I think it was Lady Nay, previous owner, and BX Mob Randy, it was DeAndre Ayton,
Of course.
for Embiid.
Of course.
Who do you think I'm playing this week that have him?
Why don't you inform the
I'm facing Brad, who now have him, which I have Embiid. Embiid out, and Aiden been up and down. So when you look at him and Scoot Henderson, who he have
Big
is
Scoop.
they're not healthy. So I know going into this week and studying, excuse me for saying, the ass whipping that he handed you and the ass whipping that he handed Muggs. I know, and that's Damien, Evil Empire. I know which strategies I need to take, and I'm not going to put that on camera, but I know what strategies that me, my staff, and my players need to take this W this week.
Understood. Now, what are we considering in, we're in the Mindset HQ.
That's what
we
I'm
have
talking
a
about,
beautiful
baby.
setup. We're prepared for Christmas.
Thank you.
What are we considering an ass whooping in the BFBA?
You and Muggs or Damien, are seniors. You guys, you started it. He started it. He was part of that. But when you sit back and examine the shit talking that you two do, like he's going to destroy us, and then you go after an owner like Brad who haven't been active because he was handling some stuff, who took a couple of L's, then come in and hand you guys your L's. I give you your props, Commissioner. You come out every week with your spill of, and I have yet to see you, and I give it to you to put, hey, I'm gonna take a L this week, and it's respectful. You're the commissioner. You don't want to doubt your squad,
Of course.
but you got to sit back and examine it. Like, is my squad healthy? Is my squad, maybe I will take this L. So it is what it is.
This is very interesting, and I wanna very early on. We still have many questions to go. I want to thank you for this conversation because
No
it's
problem.
been very enlightening. But I also just want to just kind of point out a glaring fact here. We are saying, that myself and Damian Palacios, the Evil Empire, we got our, and these are your words, not mine. We got our ass whooped by the Buford Bombers, correct?
Correct.
And that we didn't prepare ourselves for that team, even though we are always back and forth with the trash talk between the two of us.
100%.
But we still, and maybe this is just me, and I am biased of the Sham Gods. You lost last week, and you lost to the Sham Gods. So to kind of yet again turn around and say that I lost.
We go back to the NBA Cup. The NBA Cup destroyed half of us.
But a win is a win, correct?
If you want to put it that way, a win is a win. Yes,
So
you're
means-
100%
so
right.
Does that
A
not
win-
mean that a loss is a loss?
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
In my category, it doesn't.
So we can lose to the Buford Bombers.
Yeah.
We could win against the NY Mindset of Fighters, but it doesn't count.
No.
And why doesn't that count?
Just doesn't.
Just doesn't.
Just doesn't.
Just in the mindset and in the Mindset's HQ, wins and losses are only compared to the player that I'm playing.
Correct.
Understood. So let's just go forward. I really have enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. Get your Grey Goose ready.
With $178 left of your season budget, which is of $1,000, how do you plan to allocate your resources for the remaining of the season? And are there any specific areas that you're looking to improve?
I am looking at to improve. I'm looking to upgrade at my small forward position, which, as you know, I did do a trade, moving Jason Tatum for Darren Fox. So that position gotta be filled. I'm loaded at certain positions. I know at that 3 and 4 position, I'm not too loaded. So with that 178 budget, I come into the season knowing what I'm doing. I know a budget and how I'm moving forward with that budget.
And is there anything that you can kind of, let us into on, like, how do you plan to? I guess what's the plan? Is it?
So
Are we privy to this plan?
yeah, so my plan is, and to let everyone know out there, I have 3 more trades ready to rock and roll to make sure that I'm loaded in that position. You did ask me a question a couple of weeks ago about, man, you start off with $1,000. How the hell do you have $100 or $178 left? And it was all part of the plan. So when me and my staff, at the beginning of the off season, we go into knowing that we're gonna have this amount of money, right? $1,000, am I right? Now, with that $1,000, just like they say, if you die right now, can you take your money with you?
No, you can't.
The same thing that I go by. If I get eliminated from the playoffs, for example, we have one owner who's zeroing probably 8 by the end of the week, right?
Correct.
Can he take his remaining funds with him next year?
He cannot. They do not roll over.
My point exactly. So when I make every trade, I already know. I have a chart up in my office of plug and play. What do I mean by plug and play? I have 5 positions, right? In each position, I have 3 players that go in that position. When I make a trade, I know before I decide to make the trade who I'm putting in that position. And that's just how it is. You can't take the money with you. As long as you have money to make it through the playoffs, that's all that matters.
So there's confidence that with $178 and the playoffs starting March 24th, that you're gonna for sure make it.
I'm 100% I'm going to make it. And you know how I know I'm going to make it?
How's that?
Look at last year with the budget. It was me, you, and Travis. And if you look at his budget, my budget, and your budget, you made a bet that I wasn't going to make it. I ended the season with more money than you, and me and you both made it to the playoffs.
And you're speaking about me directly, not the DC Hustle.
I'm speaking about both of you guys, DC Hustle and the GM of Sham Guards. Plain and simple. If you have a budget, you can't take the money with you. For example, Malcolm, I love you to death, brother, but that goes for Malcolm as an owner also. You have $1,000 budget. You build your team off that. And if you can go into the off season or postseason with $100, $100, that can take you to the playoffs. When you won your title against BX Mob, how much did you win?
What do you mean?
I'm sorry, how much did you use to pick up DiVincenzo?
It was a $62. No, I'm sorry. It was about $23 to $24,
My point exactly.
which was the last bit of money that I had.
And what did it do for you?
It won me a championship.
Okay, and the following year, how much of that did Randy take over with him? Or the GM for BX? How much did that squad, that organization take with them? Nothing.
I was going to say I don't know exactly. But
Nothing. They took no money because it don't roll over. So if you have a set budget, do it in the off season. You know, we had a vote where a couple of owners wanted to do a budget in the off season, which is I think it was 500 or something like that.
It was an additional 500.
And 500, it didn't make sense because the off season is where you get all your trades done at. Why would I want to vote to give a person more money?
That's good insight. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I think as a league member, right? You think that it's going to help you to, I guess, make those deals, right? You're gonna really drive a few extra deals home during the off season. But I mean, I guess the strategies that you're now stating here is that if you're not allocating properly, it didn't matter if you had the additional 500. Am I that
It,
saying this
it
correctly?
doesn't matter because you can't take it with you if you're not making it to the playoffs.
I understand.
Once you, and you know what, let me rephrase that. Our playoffs start. Do you know off the top of your head when the first day of the playoffs start?
March 24th.
March 24th. So March 23rd, if you know you are eliminated and you have, say, $800 left, guess what? March 24th, you can't pick up nobody.
Correct.
You can't touch anything. And that was a rule that BX Mob Randy brought up. Being in his league, he brought that up. And it made 100% sense, right?
Yeah.
Why? I'm going to take away from somebody else winning the title. So you can't take the money with you.
This makes a very good point.
So you might as well battle and do what you have to do. I'm not saying going out there and make stupid trades.
Okay, and are we speaking? I mean, I guess let's not specifically call out anybody for any
and I'm
trades
not.
or deals that they've made.
I'm not.
I will ask. We're all friends, and we've spoken, directly about certain things. DC Hustlers is currently sitting on a very slim amount, and we haven't even reached the All-Star break. Are you speaking, or would this advice also be given to the Hustlers in the same sense of like? They're not prepared.
You know, since you brought it up, not me. As you know, me and Travis and another owner, we're close. You know, we build that relationship as brothers, and we try to guide each other, right? And I feel like if you're going to make a trade, make a smart trade.
Okay.
My mindset, I'm not making a trade for a 1-for-1 trade for $20. It ain't worth it to me.
That's it.
It ain't worth it to me because I can sit and I can say, you know what? I could go pay $5 for a player in the pool than to make a 1-for-1 trade with you.
Interesting. Very interesting.
And it's just about budgeting it the right way. When you do a trade because you feel like you want to give the next owner a reason or say, you know what? I'm going to do this trade and see what the league say. Then that's being stupid. I'm going to put it that way. You want to make sure you budget the right way. Going into the offseason, when you coming in to start that season, you know off the back how much you and your organization have in there. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're absolutely correct.
So when you make a trade and then, for example, like you said, you have DC Hustlers, how much do you have left?
I don't think we should go into his
No.
finances.
You said how much you had left, so now I'm asking you, how much do you have left?
Well, I don't have the exact number in front of me, but I think that we could leave.
The number is 68, which means he can have a blockbuster deal trade right now, and he will have to think twice before he do it. It can either be a trade that's going to help me make the playoffs, or it's going to put me in NIT.
And we're talking about the DC Hustlers.
Yes, sir.
Understood. Let's just move on. I mean, this has been really some insightful information, and I think we're kind of we're breaking that fourth wall, and we're really kind of giving the message to the league. How they receive it, I think that's only up to them. But it's been some good information, nonetheless, and I want to thank you for that. But let's move to the playoffs. We've talked about them a few times here. With 7 playoff appearances under your belt, what are your thoughts of your team's chances this year, and what do you feel needs to change for you to secure another championship?
So I'm gonna be one of them owners that I ain't gonna sit there and say I'm winning the chip this year. Every trade, every discussion that I made is to prepare for next year. I know that me and my squad aren't championship ready.
Okay.
But I know we're going to go into the playoffs and we're going to fight. That's all to it. We're going to have patience, and we're going to preach the word patience. And
so even though we don't think that we possibly are a championship team, we believe that we are a playoff team.
I know 100% sure we are a playoff team. We're not a championship team. There's so many squads out there. I got to give it to too legit to quit, who is the owner of Steven
Jones, yeah.
Oh, man, he proved me wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm like, you know what? This guy's a sucker. He came in. The commissioner brought him in. I'm like, yeah. Looking at his record last year, I'm like, yeah, this old guy is done. And then he proved me wrong.
I mean, I will say, Stephen did say to the league, you got 1 year,
Yeah.
and I think that that's kind of proven true at this point.
And he did say that around, I believe it was around this time. If we can't go back in the Facebook chats, but he did say it around this time. And I also got to give it to Felton, man. Korean South Asian Brothers or something like that.
South Korea Soul Brothers.
Yeah, something like that. Just the moves he made over the past couple of weeks, it impressed me because it showed you that everything I was doing when I got in this league is they're doing the same thing. I think every 2 days I wake up and there's maybe about 5 offers. And I'm like, what the hell is all of this?
So you would, I guess you would consider yourself, are we considering ourselves a trendsetter within trades?
I would say that, yes.
I mean, you are known as an avid trader, right, in this
Yes.
league. Can you share some of the insight of your trading strategies and how you assess potential deals? Like, how do you get the deals that you get?
You know what? I'm glad you asked me that. Because last week I had another owner that asked me, and he know who he is. How the hell do you get in touch with an owner, which is Brooklyn Donald?
Okay, Brooklyn Vikings Valhalla.
Yeah. And they go, how the hell do you get in touch with him? And I'm honest. I shoot a text and that's it. I say, hey, listen, this is what I want to do. That's one owner that I don't have pushback with. Is he tell me what he's looking for, I tell him what I'm looking for, and we get the deal done. As you know, a couple of weeks ago, we did Mobley, and I forgot, Mobley and somebody else. I forgot who it was. Mobley and somebody else for Laurie Market and George, Keontae George.
Yeah.
And those are the right pieces that we was looking for. There's certain owners that you pull teeth with to get a deal done. And you're one of them. Getting a deal done with you is like pulling teeth. It's like you have to be the one that say, hey, if I don't get what I want, there ain't no deal.
I mean, but isn't that the reason why we trade? Like, are you not supposed to go into the deal with wanting to come out what is best for your team? I mean, isn't that what you do for the mindset of fighters?
No, I don't. I come into with the mindset of knowing that, you know what, I'm going to do what I have to do to win. And you're right. It's the same thing as what you were saying, right? But at the same time, ain't no owner in this league going to do a deal that's going to make sure only you win. We have another owner, Trader Danny. He's one of them. You got to know when to shut him down and say, hey, listen, there's no deal. And he does the same thing with me. It's certain owners that he can try to get over on, but I'm not playing that route. This is the deal I want. This is the deal you want. And for the first time in, I think, years, was the first time me and you came to agreement on a deal. And I think that was because, again, you want to move Embiid.
Very true. Very true.
Even in the offseason, a lot of you owners might not know I had a deal to get Pablo Banchero. And I don't know if you knew it.
Okay.
But it was a deal lined up that was prepared to move Jason Tatum. And it got turned down. And it's all right.
This was a deal that you were doing with the
Brooklyn Stoop Kids Gym, yes.
Now, just to give a bit of league insight, because, I mean, we've had a very candid conversation, and there, this isn't the deal that was involving the Sham Gods, or was this the one that was not involving the Sham Gods?
It was two. It was one that was involving you, which would have been a 3-way trade that we couldn't get done because the Sham Gods want to seem like he's on top, and it's understandable.
I want to stand up for my team in this moment. I don't think it was so much of the fact that the Sham Gods wanted to feel as like they were on top. We were asking for a negotiation, and I was supposed to make the negotiation with the Brooklyn Stoop Kids. So there was a request on my behalf and from my team that our deal would get done first, and that we would then go all in. Tiffany was ready. Everybody at the HQ was ready to go, but we couldn't get our deal done. So I think the thinking that the commissioner was trying to come out on top and was trying to play favorites is not necessarily what the case. I really had to hold back. I was ready to do the deal, but if it wasn't for my executive assistant Tiffany and trying to make me see the value of the team, we would have just been doing a deal just as a pass-through. We would have been a middleman, and I don't think that was what the Sham Gods are.
It wasn't really a middleman. All right, you got involved in the deal, and you shouldn't have been involved in the deal, and it's understandable.
Well, you asked for the Sham God's involvement.
Exactly, but it was the only way that we could have got the deal done, right? It was the only way that we could have got the deal done with the Brooklyn Stoop Kids organization, that we had to ask the Sham God to get involved. And the Shams God wanted his deal to go through first, right? Mm-hmm. I would have been, excuse me for saying it, I would have been a damn fool to do a deal with you and then a Brooklyn Stoop Kid back out. How did I know that it wasn't part of your plan? Hey, you know what? I'm going to get what I want. I don't care if that deal go through.
I think that was a part of the negotiations that we had that I don't openly think that we should discuss here.
Okay, well, you bought it. I didn't say you was part of that deal. I just said another owner, and you decided to open that can of worms.
I think, for the league, we're doing a lot of, we're beating around the bush.
It's not beating around the bush.
I mean, if we're going to talk and give the facts, I think that we should state the facts. And, the deal would have gone through if there was a full belief that the Sham Gods team was behind.
Okay, so since we speaking to the audience, and you opened that can of worms, I'm glad you did that and not me. But there was a deal worked out. You're absolutely right. And my only requirement was I want both of you guys to send me the deal at the same time to hit accept. Mm-hmm. Right? And it go through. Shams God pulled out that deal. No. Me and your deal go first. So you're telling me I can't get a deal done with the Brooklyn Stoop Kid after I told you both of you guys send it at the same time. Same time. And it got done. But because you felt like you wanted your deal first, it wasn't going to. I backed out. You're 100% sure. I damn sure backed out. And it made sense for me to back out.
I don't think I don't think that was a bad move on your part.
No, it wasn't.
I think that we still got a deal done, but I also don't believe that you were willing to, take the word of the Sham Gods. I think that you thought that you were going to get burned, and I mean, I'm sorry to keep bringing up Tiffany in this matter, the executive assistant of the Sham Gods. That was the reason why I was told to pull out of the deal, was because there wasn't trust. There wasn't trust in the fact that your deal would still get done.
I told you exact words in text messaging, emails, phone calls. Send both deals at the same time.
But that has nothing to do with my organization.
But it does, because me and you was on the phone, and you said no, negotiations stop hard.
Correct.
Here, I said you send the trade first, and it's good. But listen, I'm not mad at her. I'm not mad at you for doing the deal.
Of course not.
Because guess what? Banchero sitting on the sideline. Jason Tatum wasn't. So
I think so. In a sense, you could say that maybe you dodged a bullet.
I did.
And maybe we could possibly say that Tiffany McHale, executive assistant of the Sham Gods and commissioner, may have saved you.
You're right. No. Because I would never say Sham Gods, commissioner, Tiffany, whatever you want to call your assistant. No disrespect, Tiffany. But it wasn't you guys who pulled out. It was me sitting back, talking with my assistant general manager, my staff, and decided, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not. It wasn't worth the risk of me losing money to bring a player that's now rotting the bench that helped me get a defeat against the Brooklyn Stoop Kid 2 weeks ago.
Understood. Let's move on. I mean, we've talked about trades. We've talked a lot about. We've been a bit critical. I just want to be honest of kind of some of the staff here at the BFBA, and I mean, and in no way do I want this to be any negative connotations or that we're putting out. I appreciate all staff of the BFBA. I appreciate, the NY Mindset of Fighters staff. I mean, this is beautiful what we've done here today, and I want to thank you and your team for what you've done. But you've been critical, I would say, of Chad and Lucy.
Correct.
From the BFBA podcast, The Deep Dive. Can you elaborate on your concerns about their coverage of the league and of your team?
You know what? I can't even say the word. I was critical of them. Mm-hmm. First week, because you got to remember, you as a commissioner don't sit down with the SLC and say, listen, this is what we're intimate. This is what we're going to do. What do you guys think?
But that's not your job.
Well, your job, we're the SLC. You bring it to us and let us make the decision to know if these are the right hires here.
But that's not. I think we're as a committee member,
Okay.
and maybe this is when you should take a step back and maybe read the bylaws or listen to episode 1 of the deep dive where Chad and Lucy give an in-depth, detailed look at our bylaws.
Exactly.
The day-to-day operations.
The question is that you bring it to us, to the table and say, guys, listen, I'm bringing in a news channel. I'm bringing in directors. You didn't bring any of that to us.
But
they just happened to just get thrown on us. Just here you go.
If it was the responsibility of the senior league committee to make the hirings, then that was something that I would have brought to your attention. I don't believe that it wasn't something that the SLC should have worried themselves about when there are other things within the league of trades and dealings of those that
You're right.
are. To be honest, the SLC is responsible for that. We haven't really had a good hold or grasp. Correct? We've had trades that may have been, speculate. You can speculate if they're good trades or not, which is where the SLC is to step in. But we've allowed them to go through.
No. We as the SLC, we can't save every deal, and we can't expect that our owner decide to make a trade that lines up against everything that's in the bylaws, points, stacks, for us to step in and go, nope, we're not here to save another owner from making a decision that he shouldn't or she shouldn't make.
So, as an SLC member, it sounds to me like you want more power within the league.
I wouldn't say we want more power, but we want more say-so, being a senior league committee.
Of the staff that is brought within of the overall complex.
Correct. So let me ask you a question. Lucy and Chad are they your personal assistants or do they work for us?
They work for us.
So that should have been a decision you bring it to us. Now the other guys and all these other guys that that came in last week, they are part of your staff.
Now let me ask you a question here. If Ted Turner, who is head of CNN,
no, it's TNT, right? Correct.
also owns CNN.
Okay.
Just maybe do a little homework here.
Fox News, baby, but yeah.
Hey, whatever outlet you want to watch, that's on you. Okay. I just want to drive home a point here of they hire a new news anchor. Ted Turner does, right? That news anchor goes on at 9:00. But you run...
Wait, but before Ted hired him, he go to his surrounding staff. Hey, guys, this is who I'm hiring. This is the direction we're going.
The people that are in charge of hiring, correct?
Okay.
If you, as an SLC member, are not in charge of hiring.
We're not, but we have a say, right? Just like you said, when we bring 2 owners next year, as you know, we're expanding, get ready for that. But when we bring the 2 owners, they got to get vetted by who?
By me.
No, you said, exact words, and I'm pretty sure everybody, that they would be vetted before they enter by the SLC.
I don't think that was actually anything that I said.
Did.
I said that I would be, I asked of the league to give people, where exactly did you?
Well, I don't have my phone because there's an interview and, we got checked by the door and said no phones, and understandable.
Right.
But that's what it was. That's why it's a big uproar of Lucy and Chad and all these. We have so many faces that joining the league that we don't know who the hell they are.
But I mean, they're the staff of the league. I mean, you don't see everybody at Disney. You don't see everybody that is on the New York Knicks team.
Okay, well,
you don't see.
Let me ask you a question. Do you work for the New York Knicks?
I don't.
Do you work for Disney?
I don't, but I work for the BFBA.
Okay, which means you work for them. Hey guys, you bring everything else to us. Hey guys, this is what we're doing. What do you guys think? Mm-hmm. I'm going to bring ABC. I'm going to bring Jackie, Ching Chong, whatever you want to call the people. They're going to be part of the committee, right?
I think you're talking about Danny Wang, who's chief financial officer.
Oh,
I just don't want to. We want to make sure that we're speaking of the employees.
And I got you, and I wasn't speaking directly to him, so whatever his name is, sir, I apologize. But I'm just being honest. you as a commissioner have to say, you know what? Even if it's not talking to the league, talk to your committee.
So let me just break this down, because I think we're getting a bit confused here. Which
No, I think you're getting confused, sir.
well, there's the Brooklyn Fantasy Basketball Association.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you have the BFBA podcast.
Okay.
Which is a different entity of the Brooklyn Basketball Association.
Okay.
That is now the media side of things.
Okay.
So we've never had a conversation, and at no point has there been any concern, other than now that you've expressed, and I appreciate this, of the media side of things, which now it's a whole nother entity. We are now a separate part of the Brooklyn Fantasy Basketball Association. We are the BFBA podcast.
Okay.
This, Conversations with the Commissioner, is in association with the BFBA podcast. So understanding, and I have clear understanding of the team, right? With, Janet, Rami, Haley, Danny. I understand having some question or concern about them, correct?
Especially when they're taking personal attacks to do your job.
But who took a personal attack?
Well, last week she came out and what's her name?
Are we talking about Janet Turner,
she
Director
came out,
of Media?
Yeah, she came out, Director of Media, and she gave this whole spill about the empire, the evil empire.
Because I asked her to.
Okay, but why would you take a personal attack against, if you were...
I don't think it was a personal attack. It was stating facts.
It was a personal attack. That was between you and him. Not getting some personal assistant of social media for the BFBA to do your job.
So if we want somebody to be...
Wait, hold on. He called you out. Am I right? He called you out.
He did.
He didn't go hire his wife. He didn't go hire...
We don't know. We don't know who runs his media team.
But he ran it. He even said he did it. But no, you on the other end, go out, you hire somebody, and you embarrass the guy. Embarrass him.
I don't think stating facts about the gentleman's... about Damian Palacios, the Evil Empire, about his team and league history, I don't think that's an embarrassment. I think what the embarrassment would be is what was presented, because we just presented facts.
No, and you're right. He presented a fact that was true. You went out there and you try to pay $12 for Larry Nance.
$21.
I'm sorry, let's reverse that. $21 for a guy that scored 0 points. Right?
Yes.
When you just knocked him for taking an L against me. Right? And I understand that. He called me out. He told me I got to march with the big dogs, and we came marching. We came barking. But he made it, and he did it towards you as a 101 off the record personal. But you took it.
Is this not the team of am I not allowed to use the resources of the staff? How if you're interested, right? Can you not call up Janet and say, "Hey, Janet, let's get together a video"?
But how does that look? Our commissioner hires someone to take a personal fact check or whatever you want to call it against another owner, instead of him getting up there just like we're doing and doing it.
Well,
you hire somebody that worked for the league. The league. Conversation with the commissioner. You took somebody that worked for the league and said, you know what? I want you to attack somebody else. It don't look good for the league, as if our commissioner is hiring people just to take...
I think that there needs to be a correction here, because that was not done. That call was not made from a commissioner standpoint. I am the commissioner of the league. So let me finish.
Okay.
Janet making a reference in the video that when the commissioner calls, she must answer.
Yeah.
Is that not my job as the commissioner? But if I make the call as the Sham God owner, which I am I not? That is why we saw Janet.
Yeah.
And that's why we also have seen Tiffany and others.
Yes.
If I do not make that call as a Sham God owner,
It's different from a Sham Guard owner making that call than a commissioner. I could guarantee that one of us could call Janet. Janet will probably say, hey, I got to go through the commissioner. Commissioner don't think that's appropriate.
Well, don't you think that's what's best for the league?
No, it's not best for the league. Taking personal attacks, our commissioner is using his staff as fucking personal. You can't do that.
So the belief is that if Tiffany makes that video, if it's just Tiffany, executive assistant of the Sham Gods, there's no issue.
It's different. It's 100% different. And the reason why I say it's different, it ain't coming from our commissioner. It's coming from the Shams Guard owner.
But isn't that the same person?
No, it's not.
If I win, am I not seen as the Sham Gods owner and the commissioner?
No, you're known as the Shams Guard. If that's the case, then you need to take a step back from commissioner and just become the owner and then do it that way.
Okay.
No offense. You're doing an amazing job here. You know, everything we got going on, it's great. I congratulate you on that.
I appreciate that. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, Commissioner.
Thank you. Great. We've this has been a heated discussion, and I would have it no other way. So I thank you for that. We've spoke a bit about how you feel as a committee member, but I want to really ask you. You know, how do you view, or I'm sorry, let me. How do you want to be viewed as a team owner and an SLC member in this league?
How I want to be viewed is I look at it like this. Do what you want. It's your team, do what you want, but make sure it falls in the guidelines of what's trying to be. I want to be one of the owners and the SLC members saying, you know what? That's cool. That's one cool guy. He let us do what we want as long as it follow the rules and don't break any rules. Is there certain things that I disagree with being a member and how the league is run? Yeah. But which one of us is not?
Understood. And I mean, I guess there have been deals, right, that have gone down between you and other owners. We've talked about one in great length today about that secured you the 2019 championship. Those things to other owners could possibly be seen as like, under the table, a dirty deal.
Okay.
And
at that time, we didn't have bylaws.
But is this how you want to be seen?
Hell yeah. I want my title. I want to be seen. At that time, there was no rules to follow. And I'm being straightforward.
Understood.
There was no rules to be followed. The only rule was that it was, at that time, you had the option as an owner to say, as you know, you fell victim into it, is to veto a trade. And, at that time, it came to a point where sometimes we just didn't like the deals you was doing. Oh, that's going to help Delonte win? I'm sorry. That's going to help the commissioner, or that's going to help the owner of the Shams Guard win? Veto. And
So there so we are saying here today that there was a bias in the deals that was done by myself.
Correct.
As a Sham God owner, but I'll just leave it
No,
at that.
I would like for you to finish. I think all of us out there would like for you to finish what you have to say.
Oh well, I just think that there's a level of bias that I'm now or have experienced. And again, this is not my conversation. This is yours, sir.
And I would like for you to finish what you want to say.
Well, what I would like to say is that if we're openly sitting here saying that we didn't like the deal, so we vetoed the deal just because of who the deal was done by, I think that goes against everything that has been done or has been trying to be set forth within the league. And that is why I'm very glad, excuse me, I'm very glad that we have the rules and bylaws that we do today, because it saves trades that could be valid based off someone's anger and opinion.
Well, it's not really about anger. You got to remember, and I sat and I talked with three owners last week, and I'm not afraid to say the name. I spoke with Trader Danny, I spoke with DC Hustler, and I did speak with BX Mob. And it's not nothing. It's about making the right deals. And now you have a couple of owners, love her to death. I love both of them, which is Val and Holly. They don't make deals at all. Last year was a record since Val came into the league that we got a deal done. There was no back and forth. This is what I want. This is what you want. Send it. Even last year at that time, I got everybody know the Evil Empire, that general manager and that owner over there is an MFer to try to get a deal with. He want to win the deal. And I believe we got a deal done last year. So it's all about patience. And it's nothing against you, Commissioner. It was at that time we had no bylaws. There was no rules that said, hey, listen, I could trade you 15,000 points and take back 500 points.
Correct.
At that time, there wasn't. There was no rules at all. And we, this shit for about maybe 4 years now, we have we have put in the rules of saying, hey, listen, if you want to make a trade, that's all right. But you're going to pay for that trade. And not only are you going to pay for that trade, it's going to be against the bylaws. You ain't going to make a 15,000 point trade and take back a 300. We ain't rolling like that.
Who would you say has been your biggest competitor within the BFBA?
Honestly, I would say everyone. And that's being real. But if I had to say one, it's Val. It's always Val. And like I told you, it's that Sundays. It is the Sundays. As long as she had Luka, you knew she was getting that ass whooped. But you knew on Sundays, if she was down less than, say, 200 points, her squad was getting it done. And it's Luka. It's Luka and it's Scotty Barnes. Those two are the foundation of that team. And like me and you have private conversations in the offseason, I can sit down and I can tell you certain teams that'll make it and won't make it and when they will crash. I know the perfect opportunity of when I need to do a deal.
So you believe that you have kind of an ear to or an eye kind of in every team in the league is what you believe?
You know what? Yes. And the reason why, I watch a lot of NBA, all right? And you know the ins and outs. You know, I told you the other day, we're on Fantasy Lab. So we know a couple of hours before who's going out and who's going down. And me and you, Commissioner, and even the DC Hustlers GM over there, we'll be on the phone and he'll go, yo, what you thinking? And you've seen a couple of Sunday mornings we're on the phone. I'm like, hey, I just got the 411 that Luka is playing tonight. And once he's playing, that is it. And you just, when you face value, you have to be on your P's and Q's. There's a couple of owners out there that you don't really worry about. If they're down, you know they're going to be down. You know, you got the Evil Empire. You got Dame over there. You have Northern Chosen Warriors. You have DC Hustlers. You have the Brooklyn.
These are teams that you believe that you do not have to worry about.
I'm not saying I don't have to worry about it, but I know once they're down, they're down.
And that was just a recap. We said
that's just a recap.
Nether Chosen Warriors, DC Hustlers. The Evil
I haven't
Empire.
faced them. He get the ass whipping next week.
The Nether Chosen Warriors.
Yeah, no, Nether Chosen Warrior. I played him. I think 2 weeks ago.
And we play the DC Hustlers next week. Which is also our next interview. So if you're watching this one, be on the lookout for that one.
And I think right before I face him, I think I face Val, and I think I'm ready for that challenge. Like I said. You said it yourself. I have $178 left. It's all about pulling the trigger on the right deal. I'm always ready for a deal. Anybody can tell you. I'll pull the trigger. But the deal got to make sense for everyone, not one person. It have to make sense for every single owner, and especially for myself. I can't make a trade and it doesn't make sense.
Understood. I got a couple more questions. You know, We've talked for a while, and I've really enjoyed it, sir. So I want to thank you. I'm going to continue to thank you. I've asked this to a few other SLC members, and one, I guess, hey, I didn't make this notion, but you are the last SLC member to be interviewed. You're also the last champion to be interviewed. So I think this is a nice little button on that little, bookmark in our league. As an SLC member, how do you view the current state of the league?
I see it going up. If I had to put my input to change anything to make it even better, would be the draft. And I've been preaching about that for the last couple of years. Is you look at the draft order and, last year's draft, the year before that, this year's draft, it questions where we need to make it a little different. How is that? I don't know. You have some people who think that, not you, Commissioner, but whoever does the ping pong balls rigged it. And I'm one of them owners that believe it when I look at the track record for the last 4 or 5 years, or 4 to 6 years.
Even though the person who has withdrawn the lottery balls has been a different person every year?
Correct. I think this year it needs to be, once we pull the balls, that's it. Start from 14, that's it. You pull it, that is it. You pull 14, number 14 go to DC Hustlers. Number 14 go to Randy or one of them. I don't like the whole idea of pulling them, walking away off camera, and then coming back and pulling them. I just feel like at that point it could be like, you know what, that's my best friend, that's my wife, that's my brother, that's my cousin. I'm going to help them. And throughout the years, it kind of showed it. You know, we had 2 years where we had the Brooklyn Stoop kid get the first round pick. Yes, we know the All-Star ping pong balls. We know all of that. But 3-4 years, she get the first round pick. And then the year where everyone thought that it was going to be different, right? I will never forget, I'm at the headquarters, and I'm sitting there with the owner of BK Stoop Kids, Brooklyn Stoop Kids, and we going through, and I'm like, you know what, Travis is going to get the first round pick. DC Hustlers is going to get the first round pick, right? Just joking around, you know, watching everyone on the screen, watching, I think his name was Tim. Was it Tim? You know, show out, have fun, you know, interview us.
Was this year or the
This
year
year.
previous?
Was it this year? Was it Tim this year?
Tim was this year, yes.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm telling the owner, I'm like, yeah, it ain't looking good for me and you. Me and you at the bottom, Travis probably going to get the first one. And guess who it was? The owner of DC Hustlers.
Well, no, this year Travis did then win the first round pick.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So, you know, he's the best friend to the commissioner, which we all know. But I think this year draft needs to be a lot different where we see what's going on.
How do you speak to your spouse, Lady Nay,
yeah,
winning the second pick?
That's different.
And then how do you speak to yourself
winning the third pick?
Winning the third pick when you only had one lottery ball.
Exactly. And I think Obi Toppin helped me win that.
Correct, because you had won the championship in 22, and normally the champion has no lottery balls and will pick 14th.
Yep.
But because Obi Toppin helped you in
the Slam
All-Star Week, that awarded you one lottery ball.
But again,
that awarded you the third
with this
place pick.
We're going from off topic here. If we're talking about the first round pick. This year, I'm not going to lie, I had a feeling the first round pick was going to either be South Korean Brothers. Or,
South Korea Soul Brothers, Felton Kenshin.
Yeah, Felton, whatever his name is. Or I even had my money on Val or Dame. And then this year's another close relative friend to the commissioner.
Even though the commissioner did not pick not one ball out of there. And
you're right.
Immediately after the lottery was done, there was a photo that was snapped of the order.
Exactly. And again,
there were four people.
There were
four staff members of the BFBA that were present.
We're four.
Well, we can count. We count the junior analyst Elijah Smith.
Okay.
We count the assistant deputy commissioner Tim Scholes, who's at that time. Okay. We then count security, acting security member Zachary Volchek.
Gotcha.
And then of course myself. And we've dragged on with this interview, so I don't want to hold too much longer, but if I'm correct, sir, you were present in the complex that night and did have an interview, did you not?
You was. You're 100% right. But me and a previous owner was nowhere near that. Again, we go back to everyone who's close with the commissioner.
But yet and still, the commissioner has never picked one.
Well, of course not. Because you know as well as I know, it'll be a World War III in this league if you get the first round pick.
What do I personally gain as your commissioner by putting my friends at the number one spot when realistically all of you are my friends? Okay. You, sir, are my friend, right? We both share a friendship with the DC Hustlers.
You're right. Again, we go back
to... Please, let me finish.
Yes,
we
sir.
knew that the DC Hustlers was probably going to move that first round pick. Why do you believe that I would have given the first round pick to the DC Hustlers knowing that it was going to be moved?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and like you said, we're dragging it, so we're going to move on to the next question after I answer that. Everyone knew that first round pick was going to last 2 weeks, but we all did have a bet that it was probably going to move to you, and it was close. Due to grapevines, it was, hey, I'm about to move this pick this pick is about to move to Delonte Fasigan. What? You just got it.
That was never an option, and that's a hot take right now.
Again, we go back to, I think, with bringing in the new owners, I think we need to try to sit down, my members, with the SLC, and figure out a way to do the draft lottery a little different this year, with adding 2 new owners. For the following year.
And we, and I mean, of course, we can't give any any insight of what we believe that it could be? I mean, would you like to pick the lottery balls?
No, well, again, it doesn't matter who picks it. But what I'm saying is, whoever pick it, you start from 14. Number 14 go to this person. But we're not doing that. We're going. We're going 14, 13, 12. Walk away. Come back.
We don't draft. When we pick the lottery balls, we pick 1 through 14. So if I pick the first ball out, it's going to be the first pick.
Okay, then you need to reverse it and go from 14.
But we're
not going to drag this out.
Because we can't. It's basically what I'm trying to explain. Is that if we have a lottery system, and there's multiple balls that are in the lottery system, right? If I pick the 14th ball, what I've now done is I've now given the person with the most lottery odds the 14th spot.
Who problem is that?
But that's not how the bylaws work, sir.
Well, show me in the bylaws, because we keep hearing about bylaws. We haven't seen bylaws in about 3 years, maybe.
There's a PDF that is actually in the WhatsApp that was.
You're right. We have new owners who haven't signed it, so we're going based off with previous owners.
But it's updated. It's updated every season. Based off of our end of season poll.
I would like for all of us to get an update, don't have your staff.
It's currently in the WhatsApp.
And it have for 2024 on there.
Correct.
Okay.
Which I
would like to have that email, but you can go on to your next question.
Well,
sir.
there's no email.
Sir.
I now want to question what are the duties, and we're asking for more responsibilities as an SLC member, but we don't even know our bylaws.
We do know our bylaws.
But you don't know that those rules are in the 2024 bylaws.
Let's move on.
What's in the WhatsApp.
Let's move on to the next question. I know you'll have Tiffany and I'm going to give us hell later on today anyway. So let's move on to the...
Well, no. I will...
That's all right.
Tiffany is not here to do the bidding.
Okay. No, she's just here to do...
You got to meet Tiffany in a Meet the Staff video, but you did not... Yeah. You haven't seen Tiffany before that.
Okay. Exactly.
Correct.
So let's move on to the next question.
And the only reason that we saw Tiffany was because we spoke about diversity within the league, and I felt that we should meet the league, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a little too late for that. You wait until you kick all of us down, or you kick one owner down. The next thing you know, all of us come together, and then y'all want to meet the staff. Here you go. We should have met the staff at that moment.
And you did. You asked to meet the staff.
We shouldn't have to ask. That's the problem.
Well, I mean, why do we want to meet the director of media?
What type of work, Commissioner? What type of work do you do besides Commissioner NBA?
This is my main job.
Okay. Well, outside of this main job, I'm a car salesman, right?
Correct. Yeah, and a very good one, I must say.
I'm a sales manager, right?
Yes.
But before they hire someone, they go, hey, listen, hey, guys, this is a new guy. All right, how you doing, new guy? Welcome. They don't wait until shit hit the fan and then go, hey, guys, this is the staff.
So let me ask you a question. When they hire a guy that details the cars,
yeah,
they bring the detail guy in to you and say, hey, Cedric, this is the new guy that's going to detail the cars.
Exactly, yes. And you can't tell me it ain't no job that don't meet their new employees.
I will. The BFBA, sir.
Yeah, I know.
That's the place where it is not needed for you to know the staff unless you have an issue. If you have a human resource issue, I'm going to send you to Rami.
You know what?
If you're interested in talking over your product, your great BFBA shirt that you're wearing, and your BFBA jacket, I'm going to send you to Haley.
Gotcha.
Because she's the one that's in charge of these things.
Gotcha. But
at no point in time have you ever asked, hey, Commissioner, let's discuss
Commissioner, you're right. There's no need to argue. It's all right. We didn't meet the staff, and
but you have.
But yeah, now after hell hit the fan. But you know what, Commissioner? That's a discussion for another day. You are up for re-election, aren't you?
I am. This actually is the year that I'm up for re-election.
Guys, you know what we need to do.
Correct.
Right, next question. Vote his ass out. Sorry. Next question.
Understood. I mean, and I want to be honest.
No, go to the staff.
Sorry, that if that is something that we really want, by all means, I really think that we should vote and do for what's best for the league.
Don't worry. We will make this league great again. I promise.
I hope you do. And with that, maybe you can give some insight. As you've said multiple times, we're expecting an expansion, 2 new teams. Maybe we'll have a new draft format. Maybe we won't. But what advice do you want to give those new teams looking to make their impact?
All right. So what I would say is, again, we go back to the beginning of the interview, is patience. Be patient. But do not do like a lot of these owners and just say, oh, there's the offer. I'm going to throw it away. Don't do any of that. Listen to the offers, because the offer might be able to jumpstart your organization. You look at a lot of organizations that came in that probably wasn't where we at now. We have two more owners coming in, and
Yeah. We're currently at 14. We expand to 16.
and it's growing. Just listen to all your options. Nobody's saying that you have to accept every trade. Hell, I send Val, I send Holly, I send not Dame. I don't really send him offers, but I send millions of offers. And when we send them offers, it's like decline, decline, decline. But then when you need, for example, I have the commissioner here. I always send him deals, and you look at it and it's like, man, you declining it. But then when you get that one deal, it's too late because you already burned that bridge. And you even said it in your last interview with Trader Danny that you don't make trades with him. Mm-hmm. But that it might be that one trade that you need to get you over that hump that you can't get because you was too stubborn. So don't be stubborn. Just listen to everyone, but make the best decision for your organization. That's my advice.
Cedric, sir, owner of the NY Mindset of Fighters, used to be Y'all Feel Joker, used to be CEO Said, many, many different names, but I think it's the same mindset.
You have to. And, everyone keep asking, why change the names? The names only changed because I was building teams around certain players, and I wanted to just go that direction. And it wasn't a one-man sport, it's a team sport. So we went on to saying, you got to have the mindset to want to fight.
Well, sir, I want to thank you for inviting me into your home.
No problem, Commissioner.
This is, once again, this is beautiful. I thank you. Any last words to the league before we get out of here?
We got about 2 months for trades. I'm open for business. DC Hustle, don't even look my direction. You got your deal from me, brother. I'll see you next week.
Fantastic, sir. I want to say thank you.
No problem, Commissioner.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your Commissioner, Delonte Smith, and on behalf of me and team owner Cedric Lucas, this has been a conversation with your Commissioner.